So, since I did the episode on optimism and delusion and all of that stuff, I've been thinking, or I had a thought that, what is the difference between faith and delusion? And I was thinking of doing an episode on that, but I was like, maybe not. And then today I saw on a friend's WhatsApp status the very question, what is the difference between faith and delusion? So that's what I'm going to talk about today. So let's start with definitions. To be deluded or to be in a state of delusion is when there is a false judgment about external reality. So if you see something that is red and you say it's white or you're seeing it as white, then you're being delusional. Like the example I gave, if you're in a dark tunnel and you're like, la la la, no, I am not in a dark tunnel, it's all great and fine and dandy. And that is delusion. That is literally delusion. Faith, on the other hand, is to believe in something or someone. So if you're a Christian, that faith is in God. If you're not a Christian, you may have faith in something else, faith in an institution, faith in someone else, faith in something. Everyone has faith in something. They believe something about something or someone and have complete trust in that person or being. So I'm going to start from a faith perspective because that is that's where I am, right? And the Christian's faith specifically. In the instance of faith, people think that having faith is that you don't acknowledge the reality of the situation that you're in. So for example, you're praying to God for healing, right? And delusion would be to be like, no, I'm not sick, I'm great, whatever, is all fine, la la, da da da. But faith is acknowledging the reality that you're sick. Like for you to even have faith that you can be healed, you have to first admit that you are sick and you need that healing. Someone who is being delusional does not even accept or even acknowledge the fact that they are sick and need healing. Is in their mind, they are not sick. There's nothing wrong with them. So that is the difference between delusion and faith. First point. And even sometimes people who are in the Christian faith, because again, that's what I can speak to, often conflate delusion and faith, even in faith in God and towards God doing something. So if you're believing God or having faith in God for something that is out of the nature or the character of God, then that is not faith, that is being delusional. So if you are praying for a babe you like and to divorce her husband so she can marry you, or a guy that you like, you are praying that he will leave his wife and come and be with you, that's delusional. That's not faith. You cannot be saying that you're having faith in God for that kind of thing, because that is against the character, the nature, and the principles of God. But in the case of healing, for example, we know that based on God's original design, he wants us to be whole and to be healed and to be healthy. And so your faith is in God because you know that this is what he desires. This is his will, this is his word, that healing is his desire and health is his desire for people. And so your faith is in God, in that aspect of God's nature and character. Yeah, so I hope that's clear. So even if you don't believe in God, right, and you're like, God is not real, and you have faith, the difference between faith and delusion in that instance is you have faith in an institution, so you have faith that the courts will do the right thing, for example, or you have faith that something can change. It's a kind of optimism where you believe that something can happen, that there can be a change. You have this conviction about the possibility of something being better, and that still relies on you acknowledging and realizing that something is wrong in the current state. You can't have faith in something better or faith for something better if you don't first acknowledge that something needs to change. The reason why you will go out of your way to do something that seems humanly impossible, like send people to space some 50, 60, 70 years ago, is because you have faith in the capacity of human to be able to achieve something like that. You have faith that that can be done. And that requires acknowledging that there are things that is making it difficult or almost impossible to do it. Like, you have to acknowledge and accept that there is a current reality that is not ideal, and that is what even prompts you to even take steps towards doing something different or making something better or acting in a way that is consistent with the future that you believe is possible or what you believe is possible. Versus delusion is when you're in a state of delusion, you're not trying to change anything, you're not trying to make something better, you're just deceiving yourself and saying that everything is great. You're not acknowledging the reality of the situation. Even with people who are non-religious or not of the Christian faith or whatever, people can tell someone who says like, oh, I have faith or I believe that in another couple of years, somebody who was in like before we went to space, like, oh, we're gonna go to space, and people are like, you're being delusional or this is impossible or whatever. But that's still faith, and faith is based on a belief about something. So if my faith that I can be healed or that I can receive these things based in my belief and my understanding of who God is as a God who is good and loving and kind and has this his purposes for the world and for me as a person and for the whole of humanity is good and kind, and an example of his will is and what he desires and his original design is for there to be health and healing. Now, I'm not going to go into like all the reasons why there's sickness and whatever, because this is not about that, and this is not about like theology and everything, but it's just about really trying to break down the difference between what is faith and what is delusion. Delusion is not based on anything, it's just based on vibes. Like, it's based on, I just feel like this dark tunnel is bright and it's not dark, and so I'm going to do whatever, and that's not based on the reality that the place is dark. But faith is more like, for example, there's in Psalm 23, right? Even though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I fear no evil because God is with me. That is acknowledging that you are in a dark valley. However, you can keep moving, you can keep going, you can be optimistic because God is with you. You have faith that God is with you. That is the additional thing. That is the distinction. Faith is in something or someone. You have faith about something or someone based on your beliefs about the person, the thing, the institution, or whatever. That delusion is just like vibes. I feel like it's red, so it's red. It's not white, even though it's objectively white. Please, nobody should come and say it's like the meaning of life and consciousness and what if it's not really white. That's not what I'm talking about. Thank you very much. I read something this evening, like after I had the conversation with my friend about like the difference between faith and delusion, about how one thing that distinguishes the two as well is that with faith, sometimes you might have moments of doubt. And even like biblically, Abraham had moments of doubt where he was like, God, what is this thing that you promised me? But with delusion, like, there's never any moment of doubt. You are 100% always certain about whatever it is that you are saying, like, you're not in the dark tunnel or whatever. And I think that's interesting. I don't know, like, how much I resonate with that, but I just thought it was also interesting to share. And with that, I've tried my best to explain the difference. And also, I'm considering doing some Q&A episodes where people send me questions and I answer. So if you have questions, I'm going to put in the show notes a link to a Google form. It is you can submit questions anonymously if you want. And yeah, I will answer them. Please ask questions, please, so that I have more stuff to talk about on the podcast. But yeah, bye. That's it for today.
Thank you for joining me on today's episode of A Couple of Things. If you enjoyed this episode or found any part of it insightful, don't forget to share with your friends on your social media, and be sure to leave a comment or a review if you can on your podcast listening app. Thank you.